Okay. Here goes. Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
WWL-TV, Channel 4, New Orleans. John Snell, Angela Hill, Jim Henderson, and meteorologist Dave Barnes. This is Louisiana's news leader, Channel 4's Eyewitness News.
Indianapolis, Indiana.
South Bend.
From your 24-hour news source. This is News Center 16 with Mike Collins and Maureen McFadden. Weather with Dick Addis and Jeff Jeffers Sports.
It was the end.
And Columbus is the capital of Ohio.
Now, Tim Taylor, Robin Swoboda, Casey Coleman on sports, and Dick Goddard with weather. This is Cleveland's own News Center 8.
There's Montgomery, Alabama.
From WHNT TV 19. Covering the Shoals to Sand Mountain, Fayetteville to Coleman. From WHNT TV 19, this is News Channel 19 at 5.
South of Helena, Montana.
You're watching Q2 KTVQ Billing. And now, from Montana's news station, this is Daybreak with Laura Thornquist and Weather with Steve Brill. Your first news in the morning from the area's news leader. This is Daybreak on Q2.
And then there's Denver, Colorado.
From Channel 9 in Denver, this is 9 News, Colorado's news leader. With Ed Sardella, Mike Landis, Paula Woodward, Dave Sweeney, and Ron Zapolo. 9 News, number 1 in Colorado.
Under Boise, Idaho.
This is 2 News at 10.
Good evening. A convicted...
Texas has Austin.
From KDFW-TV in Dallas-Fort Worth, covering the state of Texas. This is News for Texas at 5.
Then we go north to Massachusetts, Boston, and...
Live from WHDH-TV Boston.
3, stand by, on the air.
This is 7 News at 11.
Albany, New York.
In New York, this is the Channel 11 News at 10 with Tiny Tom, Jack Capital, Jerry Gerard, and Mr. G.
Tallahassee, Florida.
You're watching WTVJ NBC, where the news comes first. Kelly Craig, Jose Diaz-Balart, Ryan Norcross. This is Channel 4 News at 4:30.
In Washington, D.C.
Good evening, I'm Frank Bond.
And I'm J.C. Hayward. Chris Gordon has...
Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Live from New Mexico's most trusted news source, Tom Jones, Carla Aragon, meteorologist Larry Rice, and Scott Stigler Sports. This is Channel 4 Eyewitness News at 6.
In Nashville, Tennessee.
From Memphis and across the Mid-South. This is News Channel 3 Daybreak.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Joe Larkins.
And I'm Mary Beth Conley. Welcome back to Monday.
Elvis used to hang out there a lot, you know. Trenton's in New Jersey.
This is NJN News with Kent Manahan.
Steve Highsmith and Jerry Henry with sports.
Good evening, Florio and Whitney.
North of Jefferson, Missouri.
It's noon, and you're watching Channel 5 KSDK St. Louis, where the news comes first. With Jennifer Blome, Art Holliday, and Mary Beth Roble. This is News Channel 5.
You got Richmond in Virginia.
From the Eastern Shore to the Outer Banks and all of Hampton Roads. Jane Gardner, Gene Kemp, Dr. Dwayne Harding with Doppler Weather, and Bob Rathman on sports. This is WTKR TV's News 3 at 11.
Good evening and thanks.
South Dakota has Pierre.
Kelloland News 10 at 10.
Good evening.
At Harrisburg's in Pennsylvania.
The Delaware Valley's only primetime news hour. Fox 29's The 10 O'Clock News.
Good evening, I'm Jill Chernikoff.
And I'm Lee McCarthy here.
And Augusta's up in Maine.
Now, Craig Colson, Jenny Sperano, Chris Ewing, Tim Throckmorton. Now live, this is Channel 5 News Nightcast.
And here is Providence, Rhode Island.
This is News Channel 10 at noon.
Hi,
next to Dover, Delaware.
Live from Wilmington, the TV 12 News at 5:30. Your story in Delaware. TV 12 News.
Concord, New Hampshire.
Now, the news from New Hampshire, New England, and the world. With Tom Griffith, Kathy Burnham, meteorologist Rick Gordon, and Jeff Peterson with sports. This is New Hampshire's News 9 at 6.
Just a quick jaunt to Montpelier, which is up in Vermont.
And now, Vermont and New Hampshire's #1 news source. It's News 31 with Julie Beatty, sports with Mark Sudo, and Tom Hoyt with weather.
Hartford's in Connecticut, so pretty in the fall.
Now, Eyewitness News this morning.
Hey, good morning, everyone.
And Kansas has to peak up.
Covering Kansas at daybreak. This is Good Morning Kansas.
Minnesota has St. Paul.
First on 9. Here's a no-brainer for you. Would you like to pay less for your license tabs? Well, we're still miles away.
Juneau's in Alaska.
Live at 10, this is NewsLink Alaska.
Good evening, this is NewsLink Alaska.
And there's Lincoln in Nebraska.
This is Channel 6 for the Heartland, WOWT, Omaha. Now, this is Channel 6 News. Now.
And it's Raleigh out in North Carolina.
You're watching WRAL TV5, Raleigh, Durham, Fayetteville. From North Carolina's news leader, this is Charlie Gaddy, Pam Salisbury, Greg Fishel, and Tom Suter with the 6 o'clock news.
And then there's Madison, Wisconsin.
More stories, more information, more news. Now is the time for the CBS 58 News at 6.
And Olympia in Washington.
number 1 at 10. The 10 o'clock news on UPN 11.
Good evening.
Phoenix, Arizona.
It's 9 o'clock. Time for Arizona Prime News. John Hook, Robin Garrison, Dave Muncie's weather, and Jude LaCava's sports. From Fox 10 News, this is Arizona Prime News.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Robin Garrison.
And I'm John.
And Lansing, Michigan.
And now, get the facts from Vince Wade and Teresa Lucanis. This is the TV2 Eyewitness News Weekend Report.
Good evening.
Here's Honolulu, Hawaii's a joy.
The Channel 2 News with Joe Moore, Hawaii's #1 news.
Jackson, Mississippi.
You're watching WLDT. From your #1 news team, Marcia Thompson and Howard Ballou. Woody Asap with weather. And Rob J with sports. This is the WLDT 6 p.m. report.
In Springfield, Illinois.
This is Fox News Chicago.
South Carolina with Columbia down the way.
From WIS News, this is the 7 o'clock report with Ed Carter, Susan O'Day Fisher, Joe Pinner on weather, and Joe Daggett on sports.
Good evening. Thanks for...
And Annapolis and Maryland on Chesapeake Bay.
From Television Hill in Baltimore, this is WBAL TV 11 News at 6 a.m.
Good morning. They have wonderful clam chowder. Cheyenne is in Wyoming.
You're watching KGWN-TV Cheyenne. Live from Wyoming's news leader, this is News Channel 5 at 10.
Then perhaps you make your home in Salt Lake City out in Utah where the buffalo roam.
You are watching KSL 5. This is Eyewitness News at 10.
Atlanta's down in Georgia.
Live from WXIA TV in Atlanta, you are watching 11 Alive News at 5.
And there's Bismarck, North Dakota.
Live from your news leader, WDAY. This is First News. With Kelly Stone, meteorologist Daryl Richardson, and Scott Miller, sports.
Good morning and thanks.
And you can live in Frankfort in your old Kentucky home.
The governors of Kentucky.
Salem in Oregon, from there we join.
KGW, where the news comes first. This is Northwest News Channel 8 at 11.
Little Rock in Arkansas.
You're watching KATV, Channel 7, Arkansas's most watched news team. This is Channel 7 News at 10 with Gina Curry, Ned Permy with weather, and Paul Eels on sports.
Iowa's got Des Moines.
It's 5:30 in central Iowa. Time for Iowa News Tonight. From Des Moines,
Sacramento, California.
Live from KTVU, mornings on 2, the #1 early morning newscast in the Bay Area.
Oklahoma and its city.
KOCO-TV, Oklahoma's Channel 5. This is Oklahoma's 5 News at 10.
And good evening.
Charleston, West Virginia.
This is News 8 Weekend Report.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Brad Harvey. Thanks for joining me.
And Nevada, Carson City.
You're watching KVVU TV Henderson, Las Vegas, where we're bringing you your first before noon news with information from across the valley. Fox 5 News Before Noon with Daryl Hood.
Welcome to Fox 5 News Before Noon. I'm Daryl Hood. Should Southwestern...
That's all the capitals there are.